Welcome back to r/Neighbors from Hell, where people share stories about their crazy neighbors. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our amazing community. And without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, My House is Not for Sale. One of my sad encounters with a Karen, yay. I live in a quad in a small urban neighborhood. For those unaware, a quad is basically 4 houses stuck together, 2 facing the street and 2 hidden behind, kind of like a townhouse, but not. This week my back neighbor's unit directly behind me went up on the market. The owners, a real nice couple with a kid close to my age, decided to renovate it so they could charge more rent. Anyways, I am home alone, peacefully sitting on the couch watching TV. I am eating my first bowl of cereal in a week. I had my wisdom teeth out, which sucked. And trying to keep my cat out of it. I'm watching the HLN channel out of boredom when somebody starts pounding on the door. At first I ignored it, but it persists for several minutes before I end up saying screw it, and after shoving my cereal bowl in the fridge to keep the damn cat out, I got to open the door. Me, hello? Karen, the crazy lady at the door,
Finally, I've been knocking for hours.
actually,
I'm here to see the house on the market. Can you show me around?
you mean the one in the back?
No, this one.
This house is not on the market.
Yes, it is.
Points behind her.
This sign says so.
I look out and blink at the sign posted on the fence next to the driveway. Me, ma'am, they are renovating the house in the back since the tenant moved out.
Let me in. I demand to be given a tour.
Me, thanking God for the screen door. Ma'am, how many times do I have to tell you? This unit is not for rent. Karen then stares at me weird. Karen,
For rent? The sign says for sale.
now I know she is lying. The sign clearly says in bright orange letters against a black background, for rent with the owner's number. Me, now exasperated. Can you not read? The sign says for rent. Karen,
This house is for sale and I demand to be shown the inside.
no, go away. This unit is not for sale or rent. It's the neighbor's.
You stupid brat. Stop lying and let me in.
Me, finally at my limit. Lady, the sign says for rent and not for sale. If you cannot understand that, then get some damn glasses and leave my not on the market house. I then slammed the door in her face and locked it. I then closed the front curtains, but that did not stop her from banging on the front window. After 3 minutes of this, I have enough. Grabbing my phone, I storm over to the door, grab my old softball bat and fling the door open. Karen barely has a chance to say anything when I step out. I towered over her. Me, get the F off my parents' property before I call the cops and make you. Karen finally got the hint and ran off. I called my parents to let them know what happened, and they said they will tell the landlord. I hope she never comes back, because she would make a horrible neighbor. And you know, Ripe Stars, I was thinking maybe there should be a new separate subreddit along r/I don't work here lady, which could maybe be called r/I don't sell lady. Which would basically be about stories of people thinking that they can buy something that you own, but you don't actually sell it. And the next one is titled Return of the My House is Not for Sale lady and her lawyer. If you have read my previous post, then you will understand the events of this event. So yes, the Karen came back, oh joy. I was sitting at home alone again watching a DVR recording of NCIS when there is this knock at the door. So I go to open the door and the words, "What the actual F?" almost came out. There, standing at the door with a man, is the Karen. The same Karen who tried to enter my house a while back while I kept telling her it was not for sale. F my life. Me, what do you want lady? If you want to... Karen,
Shut up, you brat. I'm here to purchase this place and my lawyer here will help me.
lawyer, nods head. I cannot effing believe this. Like really? Me, lady, must I remind you that this house is not for sale or rent? It's the unit in the back, not this one. So leave before I call the cops for you trespassing.
This place is, and I will have you evicted out of this place today. Lawyer.
Lawyer pulls out some fancy document and holds it up to the screen. This document is proof that this place is on the market and that you must leave by tonight. I just stared at the piece of paper. I may not have the best knowledge of all this civil stuff, but I can already tell this is a load of bull. If we were going to be evicted, we would have been notified already. Me? Really? Wow, aren't you stupid? Karen,
What did you just say?
you heard me. Stupid. Must I spell it out for you?
You little
Stupid. Karen, Lawyer glares at me. Was that really necessary? Me, considering how stupid you and your client are, yes it was.
How dare you? Do you even know who I am?
Me, lady, I couldn't care if you were the goddamn queen of the world. For the last time, this place is not for sale or rent. I then moved to close the door when my cat came over and peeked between my legs. Karen.
What is that thing?
My cat? Note, my cat is black with 2 small patches of white on her chest and the other on her tummy, and has the biggest pair of green eyes ever. She's normally very shy around strangers, so I am surprised she even came over. Karen.
That's not a cat, it's a damn demon.
Yes, she seriously said that. She is apparently one of those people, one who is still afraid of black cats. I wanted to snap something nasty at her when a positively evil idea came into my mind. I picked up my absolutely beautiful cat and smiled. Me, oh, but isn't she so sweet? Cat meows, see? She agrees. Karen, visibly freaking out.
Get that thing away from me.
Grinning, I stepped outside, still holding the cat. Karen backed up like mad, dragging her lawyer with her. I followed along, my grin turning mad as I continued to talk about how sweet and precious my cat was, even rubbing my face against hers and kissing her fur. Watching Karen and her lawyer peel off down the street in her car was so satisfying. I gave my cat 6 big treats and a snuggle. And guys, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to like the video and post some star emojis in the comments if you want to help out my channel. Thank you so much in advance, your support really means the world to me and it keeps the channel going. And the next one is titled EB Neighbor Wants to Start Parking in My Private Driveway. Okay, so this conversation with the neighbor took place a couple of weeks ago and I was floored afterwards. We live on a pretty quiet street and we are the last house at the very end of the cul-de-sac. While quiet, I wouldn't call our street particularly nice, decent blue-collar neighborhood with 50s era houses and tiny little yards. Most the houses have one skinny driveway that only fits 1 car comfortably. 2 cars if the first pulls up close to the house and the second sticks out in the street a bit. As a result of this, most people also park along the street wherever they can squeeze in. Each house usually gets 1 or 2 additional spots this way. This is not the case for our house since we are at the end of the cul-de-sac. If we parked a vehicle out front, it would block our neighbors' driveways on 2 sides. This was a big consideration for us when purchasing our house because having any guests over would create a parking challenge. One of the reasons there's no other street parking anywhere near us is because one of the neighbors on the other side of the cul-de-sac uses all the free spaces. Enter into the story our entitled family EF. Basically, they have lived there since the dawn of time. I don't want to give too many identifying details, but it is a case of multiple generations living in one tiny house, cause no one can afford to move out. At some point years ago, the garage was converted to living space and the driveway was absorbed into the yard. Because they have no driveway of any kind and because there are so many people living there, there are always 6 cars parked vertically in the cul-de-sac. As a result, all vehicles turning around on the street have to do a very tight 3-point turn and no one else is allowed to park there. They will ask you to move. I checked their county records and despite their claims, they don't own that damn corner of the cul-de-sac and certainly don't have exclusive rights to all those spots. This is where the EB comes in. I don't know most of the folks from EF very well, but I actually hung out with EB from time to time. But since she was a fair bit younger than me and always wanted rides, money and weed when she came around, I basically stopped spending any time with her. On this particular day, she caught me outside as I was getting into my car. She quickly begins to tell me that she had gotten a job the month before and was thinking about buying herself a car. Only trouble is there's nowhere left to park at her house. So she wants to know if she could park in our driveway every day instead. Like at the time we have 2 cars and 2 spots. Technically you can park 3, maybe 4 cars in our driveway, but that is only because we paid to widen our driveway a bit when we first moved in, so we could actually have a guest or 2 sometimes. We had to do this because EF was taking all the street parking and now EB wanted to take my private driveway too. I am usually a huge pushover, but I was pretty floored she was asking this. I fumbled for the right words and I hate saying no to people, but I got up the courage and straight up told her no, it was not going to happen. I said we had issues with parking as it was and she should have to figure out something else. She seemed really surprised by this answer and I could tell she was annoyed with me for saying no. She mentioned she was going to ask another neighbor of ours next and then if she could park in their driveway instead. She did end up getting her new car, but unsurprisingly I never saw her parked in other neighbors' driveway either. Instead, she must have talked a family member into getting rid of one of their old cars. I would not know because she unfriended me on Facebook directly after our conversation. I had a good laugh at that. At least I won't get any more DMs asking for money and weed. And guys, I totally forgot to mention, as some of you might remember, I had a motorcycle accident at the end of December 2020 and all that is left of the injury is basically a little hematoma on my leg, and yesterday I went to a hospital to get an ultrasound check and the following is basically what the doctor said, or rather what he wrote down. So, there is mixed fluid, echoic content and peripheral front-liked hyperechogenicity lesion occupying in subcutaneous fat at lateral aspect of proximal leg, likely partial hemolyzed hematoma or hyperproteinaceous content. It is measured approximately 3.7 by 6.8 by 1.7 cm in transverse length and thickness, also seen thickening of the subcutaneous fat around this fluid collection. It could not demonstrable connection to tit biofibular joint. No intralesional vascularity is noted. Impressions: partial hemolyzed subcutaneous hematoma is most likely. And so to summarize it, what the doctor told me, I could get a surgery on this so they could cut it away, but essentially he said the surgery is not really necessary and I can just wait 1 or 2 more months and then it should be gone by itself. However, I'm curious if this is just crappy English or if this sort of medical English is also normal in US hospitals. It definitely sounds a bit weird to me. And the next one is titled, Don't Annoy the Instructors even if you think you're out of the army soon. Posted by user MarrowWillow on r/Ripestories, so please consider this as a bonus story not related to neighbor stories. I was just reminded of this by a comrade. It's the end of the 90s and I served in the German army. I signed a 4-year contract and was in my training for my position. Our company was a special one for only doing basic trainings and then sent us to our courses before we were assigned to our units. Normally, basic training was in a company in which you served afterwards. Back then, Germany drafted soldiers. You could do 10-month military or 12-month civil service. Draftees were for the most part less than enthusiastic about their duties. We had a group of 5 that took the cake though. Always wanted to see the doctor to get out of duty, being late, disrespectful, you get the picture. These 5 originally wanted to extend their military time to 18 months to go to a good post, but they realized soon that laziness was not working. So they cut back to 10 months and were parked permanently in our company. As I came back from one of my courses, our company MSG called me in. He asked if I wanted to join the staff on a training exercise. He elaborated it further. The 5 slackers were in for a rude awakening. They had 12 days left on their time. The staff was so pissed at them that our CO gave the green light for this exercise. I was more than willing to go as they have been a pain in my butt as well. Next day we were all called to attention. It started normal. Anyone needs to see the doctor? No. Anyone not able to perform today? No. Next came, following soldiers packed their gear. First staff names and some of the course soldiers' names came up. Then the 5 guys, they had no choice. We packed, went to the armory for rifles, MG, Panzerfaust and MP. The MPs were for us volunteers, the 5 guys carried the rest. The battalion our company was attached to was on their way to an exercise in East Germany, so we joined them by train. We got rations and of course the volunteer special rations. All of the 5 were split up and assigned to 5 of us. So no safety in numbers for them. We arrived the next day in the forest at the exercise area. As we disembarked, our platoon leader assigned roles. As I always liked hiking, marching was a treat for me, so I marched marched, together with 8 others, the ringleader of the slackers and 1 other, through the area. It took 8 hours in a patrol form of marching to reach our destination. We included of course some extra training, like marching under gas mask, ambush, or my favorite, running for cover. So these guys were shell-shocked the first day. The next day they tried the
"I need to see a doctor"
cart. Okay, fair enough, we told them, that is fine. But as we had no form of transportation, we have to march there. They didn't know that the medical staff was only 1 kilometer away, as we marched them in a wide loop the day before. So they weighed the options, stick to their request and march all day, or tough it out. One still wanted to see the doctor. Okay, so I and 1 other took him there. After a 5-kilometer loop, of course, doctor checked him out and declared him fit for duty. We grinned at that, so back we didn't march, we ran, yelling at him to keep up. Back at camp he told the others about his fun run, no more doctor crying after that. But we were not done. Normally we would receive warm food during an exercise like this, but no, MREs will do. At least for them. You see, when we knew about exercises coming up, we got ourselves extra food that tastes better, so we did this time. We had barbecue with others of the battalion, our 5 slackers didn't. They had MRE, the disgusting vegan one with tofu. After 3 days, 4 of them started to act like soldiers. Not the ringleader though, he thought he still only has rights but no duties. At day 6 the others turned on him because they were done with his antics. After a week he was on his own, none of the others talked to him or helped him. 1 week of constant physical work and disgusting food was not enough for him, so we separated the 4 guys from him now, and they had a very exciting 4 days. With off-road driving, swimming, barbecue, beers, I stayed with the last guy. He was arrogant like crazy, called us names for being volunteers in the army, but on the last day outside I got revenge. As it turned out, that guy was a drug addict. He smuggled some pills with him. We found out when he dropped his bag and they fell out. Germany back then was lax about drugs, but not the military. We performed a citizen arrest. The military police was called and searched him. He was taken away and his belongings back in the barracks were searched. He got sentenced to 1 year, no probation. The court did not like his attitude. Back in the barracks after the 11 days, the remaining 4 had to go through all the process of leaving the army in record time. When they left, they apologized for their behavior. 2 actually applied for military duty like me. They were back in uniform after 2 months and served. The drug guy was not so lucky. Turned out he was in the army because his dad made him. The dad had enough of him as he was at home like he was with us. So after he got out, he had a drug-related conviction, was thrown out of his parents' place and lived on welfare, and there's only one word that can describe what we felt about him: Schadenfreude. My military time was amazing. Often fun, more often hard, but to this day I can call on my comrades if I need help or if they need help. I know that this is for everyone different, but I was lucky. If someone participated as draftee, he made good memories. If he was a pain in the butt, he went through hell. And the next story is a very special one sent to me via email by a very nice viewer that always writes very wholesome comments. His name is Albin Eriksson, I believe he is from Sweden, and he says, "Hi, here's my story." The actors are the idiot, bartender and the owner. An idiot was in a bar and said he knew the owner, and the bartender bought it. The idiot got many drinks from the house, but when the owner came into the bar, the idiot was so drunk he told the owner that he knew the owner, and the owner had some fun with the idiot. And the owner said, "Wow, do you know the owner? Tell me a bit about him." The idiot said he and the owner used to fish together and a lot of bullcrap, and so the owner said, "Stop, I don't know who you are." And the idiot is silent and says after a few seconds, "You are the owner." And the owner nods and says, "Yes, I'm the owner, it's true." I have never sobered up as fast as that night. Me and the owner are good friends nowadays, so now I get free drinks on the house. And actually guys, I gotta say, this is a pretty fascinating development, because usually when people say they know the owner but they actually don't, usually these people get instantly kicked out of the premises. So I guess our good friend Albin is either very convincing or he is a good friend, because now he gets free drinks on the house all the time. Then again guys, I would probably not recommend that you pretend to know the owner but you actually don't, because it can definitely get you into some very embarrassing situations. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.